I don't think we're in for a quiet one today. It's race day here at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. It's a sellout crowd of 140,000 here today as we await lights out for the 730-metre sprint down to turn 1 of this 2.9-mile racetrack. Overtaking is challenging through these 16 corners, but there's still a lot of high-speed excitement to be found, including the flat-out turn 3 and the terrifying blind right of turn 9. Now, Anthony Davidson, I wonder, might we be in for some early pit stops today for the midfield teams, or trying to put some pressure on, or disrupting things for the leaders up front?
If you're in the middle of the pack, you got your own race to run. I don't think they're going to be thinking about causing trouble up front. However, closer to the head of the pack, don't be surprised to see some split strategies.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Vettel, Charles Leclerc and Albon, Ricciardo, Norris, Ocon and Sergio Perez, Stroll, Kvyat, Pierre Gasly and Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Grosjean, Kevin Magnussen and George Russell. Latifi and Carlos Sainz will start from the back of the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Welcome one and all to another last of first challenge. Driving is Carlos Sainz for his home Grand Prix, the 2020 Spanish Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go. Hamilton got a bit of wheel spin off the start because we're down in P20. Can we make up any positions down into turn 1? We failed to do that last time. Here at Silverstone, we're driving as Alex Albon. Going down the inside now of both Williams, and now looking to try and get past Kevin Magnussen. Haas driver at the back. And now we're making our way through turn 3. The cars filter through. We're behind an Alfa Romeo and a Haas driver. And Ferrari and Mercedes at the front, duelling away. I think Hamilton's dropped down out of that P1 position. Max Verstappen has made his way past, and the Alfa Romeo and Haas drivers side by side now. What can we do? Trying to send it down the inside of both of them. It's Grosjean and Giovinazzi. But we compromised though on the inside. They've got a much better exit. We're using overtake to our best of our ability, trying to go down the inside, but swooping around the outside goes Antonio Giovinazzi. And we just about keep ahead of Romain Grosjean behind now as we fly through the super fast turn 9 and onto what will be the first DRS straight on the lap. Looking at the inside of Giovinazzi, we're late enough on the brakes. We flick to the inside and down the inside of the Alfa driver. We're now up into 15th place and chasing after Kimi Raikkonen. We move on to the following lap. A smooth little transition there, but onto the following lap. And we're right behind the Finnish driver, making our way into the chicane of 14 and 15. We've got a much better run. We're going to sit it down the inside into the chicane. That's a very good move. Late on the brakes, and we catch the Finn napping and move ourselves up now into P14 and on a real charge of things. And onto lap 4 now, right behind Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri, battling over 13th place. Got a much better exit, using a bit of overtaking. Down the inside we go, down into turn 5. But again, on the outside, he's got a very, very good run. Good exit. Of course, we're utilising overtake to try and make sure we get to the field as quickly as we can, and we get the position done as we go down the inside into turn 7 and seal the move into turn 8 as well. And pushing on now onto the back of the other AlphaTauri of Danny Kvyat, and just in front of him is Sergio Perez. Perez not getting DRS, he's not close to the car in front, but both me and Kvyat both have DRS on the occasion. Kvyat looking to go down the inside, can be picking in pieces from the puzzle, trying to go round the outside now, and we're almost going to be 3 wide now as we go on towards turn 3. Perez in a bit of a sandwich, and actually Perez losing power and has lost both places, and he's dropping now down, and Perez seems to be out of this race. He's pulling to the side of the track. We are 3 wide as we came out of turn 2 towards turn 3. We managed to get past Perez on the outside. He was in the sandwich, but out of the race goes Perez, and now we're left to chase after Danny Kvyat. And making our way now through the final corner, through 15, onto turn 16, and then onto the main straight. We're right on the back of the Russian driver, opening the DRS now. This should be a lot easier move than he had on Perez. A lap a go now, looking to go round the outside of the Russian. Late on the brakes, and we just about get the nose in front and sweep around the outside of Danny Kvyat and move ourselves up another position in this race. So power on towards the front into P11, but gaining positions as drivers are into the pit lane. Hamilton and Verstappen, Ricciardo and Vettel as well. And on the following lap, the exact same is happening. We go from 7th all the way up to P2. Interesting enough, Racing Point leaving Stroll out another lap. We saw them do that last week in Silverstone. I think that was with Perez at the time. And pushing on now on lap 8 out of 17. Of course, we can go a bit longer on these medium tyres. We'll have the softs right towards the end now. But whilst we're doing this, we flick further back. Daniel Ricciardo was pitted on the previous lap. He's coming out now. And Alex Albon's just in front of him. And the closing speed's just catch Ricciardo out. He's got front wing damage. And that is big front wing damage. Missing that. His front right end plate. And that is massive. Big disaster for the Renault driver. The Australian's going to surely have to pit again and see Lando Norris closed up in a couple of seconds. Get right on the back of him now. And Ricciardo surely falls into the pit lane. And he does pull off to the right-hand side and will come into pit lane. So he is out of the race. That is a driver we do not have to overtake. And that is a big positive for us. But on to lap 10 now. We're pitting at the end of this lap. Max Verstappen, the effective race leader, has caught up to us. He's right behind us. The gap is 0.5 of a second. And there's no point in us staying out any longer. We're going to use the softs as best we can. And, of course, not slow ourselves down fighting with the leaders. We just about avoid that bottle on the inside, pushing it to the max as we make our way into the long pit lane once again.
One eternity later.
And diving into the box, soft tyres on a 2.5 second for the boys in McLaren. So a very, very handy stop. It's going to help us as well, especially with our battles straight out the pit lane. See the two Ferraris and Alex Albon get clear in front, but we're racing Stroll, Norris and Ocon. Stroll goes past. Norris just goes past. I think we're going to slot out ahead of Ocon, so we've made a few places up in the pit stop phase. And Danny Kvyat, interestingly enough, gone onto the hard compound tyres. A very bold choice of strategy. Obviously not trusting the mediums towards the end, but we move on a couple of corners later and down the inside on Lando Norris. We go into turn 10 at the end of the DRS straight, and just having that superior grip off turn 9 has managed to get us past the Brit and our teammate. And we move up now and right onto the back of Lance Stroll. And you can see the grip we have, pulling away from Norris, gaining massively on the Racing Point driver. And we're looking to make a move down into turn 1. We're going to be putting it up into overtake, opening the DRS, and now using the slipstream to try and get past the Canadian, racing down towards turn 1. We're right on the back, we go flick to the outside. And as we get down to the corner, we've already ahead. And we get the position now up into P7. But of course, we want more. We want to be in that top 6, try and break into that top 3 teams. And it's Alexander Albon up next. And we actually set the fastest lap of the race on lap 13, putting the hammer down, pushing as fast as we can. And then you see the two Ferraris, then comes Alexander Albon, and then comes us. We're reeling him in. We're trying to close that gap as quickly as we can and get ahead into that 6th position. And on the end of lap 15, we're just about to move on to the penultimate lap of this race. We're starting to feel the effect of the dirty air as we're sliding through that final chicane up into overtake DRS, and that Red Bull with the Honda engines not being the most powerful on the grid. We're going to be closing on him up into Richmond, up into overtake. Just take it out as we get closer. Now we're going to look to the inside of him and down on the brakes. We get past the Thai driver and move ourselves up into that P6 position. I'm on the penultimate lap. I think the Ferraris are going to be a little bit too far ahead. He's coming to the final lap of this race through the final couple of corners. We're going to come around turn number 16 to take P6 in this race. And from P20, you've got to be very, very happy with that indeed.
That's the end of the race.
Initially, I thought it was first, but it changes to 6th, so it's a little glitch in the game there. But 6th place, very, very good work, and getting driver of the day as well for making up 14 positions in this race.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
Good stuff. Getting it up into P6. And Hamilton managed to set the fastest lap on the penultimate, I think on the last lap of the race. So we couldn't quite get that extra point as well. But thank you everyone for joining and watching. Make sure you check out the last video we did at the Circuit de Catalunya on F1 2020 and GT Sport for the first time. So I hope everyone enjoys that and see you all later.